Magyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Gaurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadaraye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah. We are reading from Vedanta Sutra, second chapter, second part, verse or sutra number 6. Abhyupagamamepi atarbhavat. The general meaning of this sutra is that the spontaneous activity of Prakriti has no meaning. The Vedanta is attacking often the Sankhya, the atheistic Sankhya philosophy. There are two kinds of Sankhya, many schools of Sankhya actually there are. Krishna is saying to Uddhava, there are many schools of Sankhya, they are counting the material element differently. Some say 16 elements, some say 3, some say 1, some say 2, some say 23, 24, 25, 26. Sankhya means counting. But the main difference is atheistic Sankhya and theistic Sankhya. The one that is said that God has no place in creation or release, in liberation, that the soul is completely aloof. There's two principles, the soul called Purusha and Prakriti, the material nature. There's no Mahapurusha in atheistic Sankhya. So the Vedanta often attack the atheistic Sankhya because it wants to prove that Janmadiyasya Yata. This is the main thing, that Brahman is the origin, maintenance and destruction of the world, nothing else. Not Pradhan, not material nature. So material nature has no meaning. If you said it is spontaneously generated, it doesn't need the help of a creator. But Madhvacharya has a different reading of this sutra. He's saying this sutra refers to Charvaka, the hedonistic school. There's a book written in the 12th century called Sarva Darshana Sangraha. Sarva Darshana means all the different points of philosophy. Sangraha meaning the assembly of all the different schools known in India. It was written by someone called Madhava, the brother of Sayana, the Vedic scholar who made a Sanskrit dictionary. So he classified all of these different schools according to the lowest understanding of reality to the highest. And because he's from Shankaracharya school, then he is classifying, of course, the highest Shankaracharya and the lowest materialistic people. Charvaka. Charvaka and Buddhist and Jain are considered Nastika. Asti means to be, there is. What is, there is a soul, there is God, and it is called Vedic. They follow Veda. But Charvaka, Buddhist, Jain, they don't follow Veda. They reject the Veda. So they call Nastika. And those who follow Veda are called Astika. That is the Sat Darshana, for example, that we have seen briefly. There's the two Mimamsa, Karma Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. They base themselves on the Veda. How to read Veda. Karma Mimamsa is saying the goal of Veda is to make Vedic sacrifices and to go to heaven. And Uttara Mimamsa is Vedanta, meaning Upanishad, the end, Vedanta, the end of Veda, meaning Upanishad. And the goal of Veda is to attain moksha. Those are the two of Sat Darshana, 6 philosophical point of view. Then there's Nyaya and Vaishishika. Nyaya means logic. Vaishishika means that everything was created by atoms. They usually go 2 by 2, those schools. Nyaya, Vaishishika. Then Yoga and Sankhya. Sankhya means the description of material nature. Yoga means the process by which one can become free from material nature. So 6 schools, but there are also other schools which don't belong to this school. So he's saying this is the belief of the Charvaka. The Charvaka is called first class denier, first class Nastika Shiromani. Shiromani, the jewel of denier. What is he denying? Na svarga, na pavargova, nevatma paralokika, neva varnashrama dinam kriyascha paladaikam. Na svarga, no heaven. The atheistic philosopher Charvaka saying there is no heaven. Na pavargova, and there is also no apavarga, meaning liberation. Nevatma, there is no soul. Paralokika, there is no afterlife. Naiva varnashrama dinam, there is no meaning to varnashram dharma. Kriyasha paladaika, there is no result to pious or bad activities. This is first class atheism. This is the point of view of many Westerners today. Most people who are materialistic in the West, they also say there is no soul, there is no God, there is no afterlife. There is no meaning to follow any rules for spirituality, and even good or bad action has no meaning. Apart from the law. If you get caught by the law, then you're put in jail and you're going to suffer, so you obey the law simply not to suffer. What is it based on? Hedonism. You enjoy. You enjoy. And this is the way that life is in the West. It is very sad. 20 years of school, then just to become a good citizen in order to enjoy life, work hard and enjoy life, and then die in complete ignorance without ever asking basic questions of life. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of life? Is there any other life after death? Where did I come from? All those questions that even children ask and nobody can answer. They don't have any clue. Bhagavatam also is saying, Shrotavya dinirajandram nrinam santi sahasrasha apashyatam atmatattvam griyeshu griyamedinam. That there are thousands of subject matters to be heard and discussed in this society, but no one is interested about Atma Tattva. No one is interested. As a pastor, I do wedding ceremony, and I did one just 2 days ago. And I prepared this wedding with the future, the husband and wife. And when the future husband came into the church, then they played some kind of a disco music, and he came dancing like a fool, like this, with his friends and everything. Totally disrespectful of religious ceremony. This is how life is today. They ask to be married at the church, but then they want to do whatever they want. They ask to be married at the temple, and they do whatever they want. They don't have to follow any rules because they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the soul. They don't believe in anything. There's no genuine intelligence. But this is the fact. So why is Madhvacharya bringing up this philosophy? Between two Sankhya proposals, like it is sandwiched between two Sankhya proposals. I didn't discuss too much Sankhya philosophy in this discourses on Vedanta because it is very tedious. There are so many details and it is very redundant. And the main aspect is to ask ourselves the main questions. I know many of you, they may want to hear about the goal, prayojana, prema prayojana. That is, when you are there with Krishna, what it is like. Why do we have to worry so much about all this description of material creation? Because this is called sambandha. First, we have to establish sambandha. And what is sambandha? Meaning relationship. There's three principles in Vedanta that Jiva Goswami applied also to Srimad Bhagavatam. Three principles: sambandha, abhideya, prayojana. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his little book called the Bhagavat, he actually was a spoken discourse to the Brahmo Samaj. The Brahmo Samaj at that time was almost converted to Christianity. Anyway, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, when I was young, I was not attracted to the Bhagavatam. I was attracted by Western thinkers like Emerson and other Western philosophers, and even Christianity, because the Bhagavatam seemed to be filled with different mythology that didn't appeal to me. But then one day I happened to come across the commentaries of Jiva Goswami, and then it changed completely my reading. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, because then he could understand how the Bhagavatam was structured. And he speaks about this sambandha, abhideya, prayojana. It is very interesting that this sambandha means we have to understand who are we, a spirit soul, and what is the quality of the spirit soul. That is described in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and so many different places, and also we'll see in the Vedanta Sutra that is described the quality of the soul. Who am I? But what is this material world? What it is made of, and who has created this material world? How it was created? And what is my relationship with this material world? And what is the relationship I have with the Supreme Lord? And what is the relationship that God has with this material world? And how is the relationship that we have with each other as individual living entities, and with this entire cosmic manifestation? So this is called sambandha. And unless we understand this sambandha, then we will not be able to understand prayojana, because we will misplace the two. We will misunderstand and think that the spiritual world is like the material world, but it's not. This material world is based on an illusion to enjoy. As long as we do not understand that we are here to learn, this is a school, that we are here to learn, that we don't belong here. And Krishna has a plan for us. He has put us here so we can grow and develop our love for Him. And then our life will be perfect. There will be no more suffering. Suffering will only be to come closer to Him. So this is not suffering. So Charvaka is put in between two, Sankhya, because ultimately Sankhya, being atheistic Sankhya taught by a different Kapila than the one in Srimad Bhagavatam, then it is very much like modern materialistic philosophy, which is spoiling everybody's ideal. People have no ideal. They think everything is finished at death. They're hopeless. Because of this materialism, with this Big Bang theory, and everything happened by chance, and evolution of species of Darwin, it has spoiled everything. Nobody believed in God anymore. They don't go to church. They don't go to synagogue. They don't go to temples. They just want to enjoy, eat, drink, and be merry. And then they die young. And this is terrible. There's no soul, they say. There's no God. Nature is the only doer. They think that nature is everything. They have this pantheistic belief that nature is everything and everything happens by nature. Prabhupada used to say, whose nature? When you speak of nature, you should ask the question, whose nature? This is Bhagavan's nature. So Bhagavad Gita also say, asatyam pratishtam te jagat anura nishwaram. They say that this world is unreal, has no foundation, anishwara, has no God. They believe that to gratify their senses until the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust and anger, They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. It is what Bhagavad Gita is saying. So for them, there's no point of talking about Vedanta. They don't even understand. The first sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa, human life is meant to inquire about the absolute truth. They are so engrossed in their ignorance that they will never ask this question. But this Maya Devi may help them by making them suffer. If you suffer, not too much, but if you suffer just enough, maybe you will ask question. Why? Why am I suffering? This is a very intelligent question. Not just, I want a cure for suffering and I want to continue in my ignorance again. No, why am I suffering and how can I get out of this suffering for good? The first question, primary question of human life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, maybe you will inquire about the absolute truth. This human life is so rare. And death is dancing on our head. Anytime we may die. This human life is so rare. If we just endeavor to eat and sleep and mate and defend like animals and we die, then next life may be worse. We miss the point. So we should try to make everything that we can understand. What is the real truth? And have a proper Siddhanta. Be rightly situated. Have no confusion, no doubt in our mind. This is what the Acharya are teaching us. To be clear-minded, to have the right understanding of everything. Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, Krishna Tattva, Prema Tattva, Rasa Tattva, all of this Tattva. One by one to learn them. And our Acharya are helping us. Thank you very much. Panchakarpa Tarubhyacha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaivacha Patitaram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.